So this is cider chicken, and it's boneless, skinless chicken breasts or thighs or a combination of both. We're gonna dredge them in flour and cook them in butter and olive oil. And the key ingredient are apples and apple cider. This is the kind of cloudy, delicious apple cider we get in upstate New York. And I start out for 1 large cast iron skillet full of my cider chicken. I start out with 1.5 cups of cloudy cider. I add 1 large or a couple of small bay leaves, a small cinnamon stick, or you can just break one in half, and about 1 inch, 1.5 inches of cinnamon. A good 1.5 inches or 2 of ginger that I just peel and slice up and drop in. We're gonna strain this, so you don't have to be too precious about it. A few allspice berries. And I'm gonna let this cook way, way, way down till it reduces down to 1/3 of a cup. So you have this really concentrated apple cider reduction that we're going to add to our sauce. While that's reducing, we're going to get our cast iron skillet very hot, add a little bit of olive oil. To the olive oil, we're gonna add some butter. When the butter foams, we're gonna brown our chicken. Season the chicken or the flour with salt and pepper pretty liberally. And when I make this dish, if I'm using all chicken breasts, like if I'm cooking for my mom and my sister, they only care for white meat chicken, I cut the end off the chicken breast, and the thicker part of the breast, the top of the lobe of the chicken breast, is twice the thickness as the opposite end. So you just horizontally cut that. So you end up with 3 pieces of chicken, 3 portions of chicken for each chicken breast. Then we're going to coat these in flour, dredge them. We're gonna add some butter to our hot olive oil and let the butter melt into the oil. And drop our chicken in. We're going to brown our chicken in 2 batches. You want a couple of firm apples, not Macintosh, more like a Northern Spy, a Braeburn apple, a few apples thinly sliced, and a couple of onions thinly sliced. We'll deal with that when we come back. When your chicken is browned, you remove the second batch from the pan, and then I added in the apples and onions that we were talking about before the break. Get back in there, buddy. The apples and onions have salt, pepper, and thyme. And then we're going to make a sauce out of our reduced cider. We're gonna take 1.5 cups all the way down to 1/2 cup. And then we're going to lace it with a little apple brandy. You can add a splash of cream if you like. If you want it extra saucy, as we do in my family, add a little bit of bone broth or stock, chicken obviously, to your chicken dish, just so you stretch the sauce. The reason we like it extra saucy is we serve it with copious amounts of grain bread, like charred or broiled grain bread that you can rub with garlic and olive oil and sea salt. We want our apples tender, crisp. Don't let them brown too far. You're just trying to take the edge off the apple and soften the onion. You don't want this to turn into apple sauce, okay? That's not what we're going for. So you can slide your cast iron skillet off the burner, or you can turn off or down your flame to deglaze the pan with just a touch of apple brandy. Then you can turn your flame back on, and you're not, even if the pan ignites, that's fine. You're not gonna ignite the bottle of liquor, okay? So we have that bubbling away. Now we're gonna take our reduction of cider with the ginger and the allspice and bay and cinnamon, and add that directly to the skillet. We're gonna make it a little saucy with our bone broth or stock. And then to add cream or not to add cream is up to you. I'm gonna add a little cream and slide the chicken back in, of course, to let it gently finish cooking through and warming back up in your apples and onions and that beautiful apple brandy laced sauce. I then bring the whole skillet right to the table and serve it off of a trivet because it's beautiful in a big old cast iron skillet.